this is Peak Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and it's with great sadness that we reflect on the recent passing of famous Japanese artist, writer and creator Akira Toriyama, who passed away recently at the age of 68 years old. The news, which was released and announced via social media within the early hours of Friday the 8th of March 2024, confirmed that Toriyama actually passed away on the 1st of March of this year, with the cause being cited to suffering an acute subdural hematoma, which was a cause of the type of bleeding near the brain. Only his family and a few friends actually attended his funeral, and I give major respect to all of those involved in keeping the news quiet long enough for his family to grieve for him privately. The post also stated that Toriyama still had several projects within the pipeline and thanked everybody for supporting his artwork and creativity over the last 45 years. Now, born in the capital city of Nagoya, Aichi within Japan in April 5th, 1955, always inspired by drawing Japanese manga, Toriyama entered the industry at the very young age of 23 years old and submitting his work to both Kodansha's weekly Shonen magazine and also the weekly Shonen Jump magazine. And after his early works failed to gain much traction, he finally found his first success with the creation of Dr Slump, which ran from 1980 to 1984. As well as generating an anime series from the manga, this project would eventually go on to sell over 35 million copies within Japan. And if that work was deemed a success, then the world wasn't prepared for what was to follow. In 1984, Toriyama created the manga series called Dragonball, a fantasy comedy series with elements of adventure, telling the story of a young boy named Goku who, alongside his friends and mentored by Master Roshi, would go on to travel the world in search for the mysterious Dragonballs, which when found would summon a massive dragon within the sky, granting the founder any wish that they required. After several volumes, the story would see Goku progress as a powerful fighter competing in world tournaments. This is where the tone of the manga would shift much more into action and fight orientation, as Goku would discover his true origin coming from a bloodthirsty alien race known as the Saiyans, who thrive on battle and destruction and are sent across numerous points within the galaxy to conquer various planets. And this is where the story would involve much more larger scale battles and fight scenes and multiple sequences of destruction. As Goku's status as a popular manga protagonist continued, we would see other supporting characters such as Vegeta, Piccolo, Trunks, and Goku's son Gohan all become integral characters throughout the series. Throughout the long-spanning sagas of the show, we would see them all come against powerful villains such as Frieza, the androids, Cell and Majin Buu. Already massively popular within Japan through the manga and the anime series known as Dragon Ball, the franchise would elevate even further with the anime series Dragonball Z, which broadcasted in the United States in 1996 and then started broadcasting on the Cartoon Network in 1998. And this was when the Dragon Ball franchise started to make its impact amongst Western culture, where its influence really began to take shape. A whole generation of viewers like myself were instantly drawn into the epic scale of fight choreography and violence, the distinctive characters, all of the special moves and the fight techniques. Yes, we had already experienced this type of animation when anime first broke through into the Western entertainment in the early 1990s, but it wasn't really through a weekly show such as this. Back in this era, we were used to the likes of X-Men the animated series, Batman the animated series, Spider-Man and Superman. And I've already done an extensive video within the channel talking about Dragon Ball Z and how it is the greatest anime series ever, but in short, it really captured the imagination for so many people, inspiring many of them to become artists and writers and creators, going on to create their own manga themselves. And that's such a powerful thing, especially in the current climate that we are in now. And Toriyama's art style was so distinctive, with his large eyes, slightly out of proportion faces, the structures of his physiques, the large musculature, we have the sharp angle edges of his characters. It had this very clean-cut, cartoonish, yet also very dynamic look about it. And his style was so unique that it almost feels blasphemous when attempting to draw any Dragon Ball character in your own particular style. And Dragon Ball Z would go on to become a truly global cultural phenomenon, which would result in generating for me and for many still the greatest anime series of all time, and also go on to become one of the greatest selling manga series ever, selling over 260 million copies worldwide. And the popularity has simply maintained long after the manga series and anime completed in 1996. We would see various spin-offs and sequels and novelization and anime movies, future series such as Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. We unfortunately have to mention the dreaded Dragon Ball Evolution movie, but none of them really came close to matching or repeating the same impacts that what we saw with Dragon Ball Z. Now we could spend another hour talking about the greatness of Dragon Ball Z, but respectfully, Toriyama did have other notable works. Like so many, I vividly remember the Chrono Trigger computer game series on the best 16-bit console, which is of course the Super Nintendo, and Toriyama there really was involved in the overall character design of all of the characters. The game itself was a multi-level RPG and overall managed to sell over 35 million copies worldwide, and once more Toriyama brought his own distinctive style to all of the designs. And he also repeated this for another computer game franchise known as Dragon Quest, with all of its multiple sequels combined, went on to sell over 85 million copies worldwide. And yet for all these other works, it is really Dragon Ball that remains his greatest legacy. And when I look at the overall impact and the creation of Toriyama's work, I think he really symbolises a time before the internet and the all now consuming element of AI, back when people could really create something truly original by themselves. Yes, of course, he drew inspiration from other sources, but overall he really put in the hard work in order to create something truly incredible. And as I mentioned before, his work within Dragon Ball really inspired generations to get into anime, manga, animation, artwork and storytelling. And he would propel so many other creators to go on to create something truly special. And that for me is what makes him a true genius and an overall pioneer, very similar to Stan Lee in many ways. I really would put him on that similar level. And in an era now where we are seeing so many works just being rebooted, reinvented, repeated, showing a real lack of creativity, many people looking for the quick shortcut, I think it's overall very important and very critical to look back on Toriyama and really remember what made his work and his overall mindset and genius so special in the first place. And that's why we pay full respect to the creator and an absolute genius in Akira Toriyama, who sadly passed away recently at the age of 68 years old.